Okay, welcome to my apartment searching home moving video. Okay, it's the start of September and I'm with my baby Riley and my wife Moe, and we go into a real estate agent at the moment for an initial consultation. Okay, first challenge of apartment hunting, make sure the estate agent is open before you go over there. Okay, before this video becomes largely about my cat, there are three main things I need to talk about in what we are searching for in our next apartment. Okay, so the first one is a mansion. Now, when I say mansion, it doesn't mean what you would typically think, which is like a 5-bedroom house, you know, indoor swimming pool, etc. Okay, in Japan, a mansion just means an apartment. Okay, so there's two types of apartments: apato, mansion. Okay, we currently live in an apato, okay? And the difference, the nuance between these two is that an apato is usually more budget and a mansion is usually more kind of robust, okay? So a very good example of this is that apatos are usually wooden buildings. Mansions are usually concrete buildings, therefore they have better soundproofing. So to give an example, in the apato that I currently live at, okay, I can hear the next door neighbor's, you know, mobile phone alarm in the morning. I can hear him when he farts. I can hear him when he goes down the stairs. I'm not exaggerating. Okay, that's how bad the soundproofing is in an apato. Okay, so usually the only people that will go for an apato are usually people on a budget. Okay, so like students, retirees, people looking to save money. Okay. Usually families will tend to opt for a mansion if the budget allows, and in our case, it does allow for that, okay? So the next point that's important to us is it needs to be out of Tokyo, okay? It can be central Tokyo because the cost of living is just too high, okay? But if it's outside of Tokyo, we miss out on some great childcare benefits, okay? So because the birth rate in Tokyo is so low, the government is really pushing like childcare benefits in Tokyo, okay? So for example, autumn 2025, around now, okay, nursery costs have gone to 0. That's a huge cost saving, and we won't get that if we move to a different prefecture. So it needs to be out of Tokyo to get the childcare benefits, and definitely not inner Tokyo where the cost of living is just too damn high, okay? Third point, and this is the big one, okay? It needs to be pet friendly. Now, when we went to the estate agents, you could have like hundreds of listings appear, and then the moment you turn on a filter that says pet approved or pet friendly, like it literally goes from hundreds to just like 4 or 5 or 3 or something like that, listings only. And then we found out that even those that say they're pet friendly will have restrictions. So in most cases, those places that say they're pet friendly, they're only talking about like small dogs, like a Chihuahua or a toy poodle, okay? But cats, no. So with our requirements, a mansion in outer Tokyo that allows for cats, we only found like 1 listing, okay? So I think I'm gonna talk a little bit about my cat because he's had such a huge impact on apartment hunting. This is Sami. I think a good way to introduce him is to talk about his clipped ear known as Sakura Mimi, which translates to Sakura ear. The reason this type of ear is called Sakura Mimi is because if you look at the petal of a sakura tree up close, the tip is also clipped, like the shape of his ear. And if you take the first syllable of each word, so Sakura Mimi, Sami, that's how we came up with the name Sami for him, okay? Now, this type of ear, this clipped ear, is given to stray cats that go through the trap, neutered, and release program. Evidently, he was trapped and neutered, but he wasn't released back into the wild. I'm not quite sure what the story is there, but because he apparently joined the cat shelter, or he went to the cat shelter at a very young age, I could only imagine that someone noticed, like, his personality was still malleable and not set in, like, stray cat ways. Okay, so someone realized this potential for him to be someone's pet because of his age. He was so young. So we found him at the shelter, which kind of doubled as a cat cafe. And it was really lovely because the cats would kind of roam freely. and you can see spontaneously, you know, which cats like you kind of have a spark with. And he would always kind of like, I didn't really notice him because he would always just climb up high somewhere and just sleep. Okay. I was kind of like, my attention was always pulled by the cats that were like the kittens that were very energetic, running around or something like that. But Moer took a liking to Sami. Moer, you know, said, "Hey, let's go with Sami." And yeah, I didn't really disagree because, you know, some of the cats at the shelter were like, you know, maybe aggressive if you pet them. The kittens, like I said, are like maybe too energetic, okay? Having a nice docile cat that just wants to sit down and sleep suits us fine, okay? So we went through the adoption process and we found out his history. So he had something called FIP, which is like a fatal cat illness. And it requires like daily injections that are very expensive, and this is administered over months, okay? So I was really quite impressed that the cat shelter didn't give up on Sami. He had this illness before we adopted him, okay? I was really impressed because I think a lot of cat shelters, if one of the animals just has like this fatal illness that's time consuming and costly to treat, I think they would just get put down. But like this cat shelter we went to really loved cats. They really wanted to help the cats no matter how bad the situation was, okay? We also found out he was bullied by this other cat there called Silver, this big grey fat cat, like this kind of don, this mafia boss of a cat, you know? So, you know, I felt kind of bad for him. He started off as a stray cat. He had this like fatal illness. He was bullied at the cat shelter. We had to take him in. I kind of felt like that. And we've had him now for like 2 years. We love him. You know, I continue to love him more and more every day. He's so cuddly and fluffy. He's not a long-haired cat, but he's still very fluffy. And even though like apartment hunting for a cat-friendly place is like very difficult and causes a lot of restrictions, I can't give him up, especially as he's a cat from a shelter. I think if you take a pet from a shelter, you can put them back in the shelter. That's just too sad. That's too horrifying, okay? And so it's my dream that we get a nice apartment and I buy him a big cat tower, okay? Because he loves to climb up high. And that he could go to this cat tower and just sleep for the rest of his days in luxury. In our current apartment, it's so small, we only have like a waist-high, tiny cat tower. I want a big one, you know, like 170 centimeters or something like that. So yeah, Sami, he has to stay with us, okay? We need a cat-friendly apartment. Giving him up, out of the question. Okay, it's not just the cat I have to think about. I have to think about my baby as well. And I featured her in my past videos, so she won't get the introduction that Sami just got. But before I talk about her a little bit, I just wanted to give a kind of like tour of my apartment to show how dire the situation is. Now, it's a bit messy. Please excuse that. We are in the like process now of like throwing away stuff we don't need and getting prepared to pack things. So this is the parents' bedroom, okay? This is the parents' bedroom. This right here is the baby bedroom, okay? It's the baby bedroom. And this right here is the living room, okay? So that's how dire the situation is, okay? And this little spot right here that me and Sami are on at the moment, this little kind of matted area, this is Riley's play area, okay? Because the back of her head is still a little bit soft, and when she rolls around, sometimes she drops her head. I don't allow her onto the wooden area. So she's got only this little tiny spot. And she's at the stage now, she's nearly 6 months old, where like she moves around a lot. She can't quite crawl yet, but like, you know, she'll kind of play around a little bit. She'll be like, doop-de-doop-de-doo, you know, and then she'll roll over or something, and I have to kind of like pick her up as she gets to the edge of this mat and kind of, okay, and then I'll have to like kind of reset her position. Okay, wait, the toy's talking. I'll have to like reset her position, and then within a few seconds, she's like doo-dee-doo-dee-doo, and she's kind of like rolling over again, and I have to pick her up and reset her position like every couple of seconds. And it's kind of depressing because it's almost like a pig in a pen, you know, like she doesn't really have space. It's like she's on she's livestock on a farm or something like that. And I'm worried that it's like kind of like restricting her ability to, you know, like develop like physical strength, because she can't really exercise and just truly play and roll around endlessly. So when we get a new place, we're going to have like a bigger mat, okay, and just more space in general for her to kind of roll around and practice, you know, standing up. I don't know if she's going to crawl. Apparently some babies just skip that step and go straight to standing up. But yeah, she's moving a lot now and she needs a bigger space, okay? So she needs a bigger space, and my little Sami boy over here, he needs his cat tower. Yes, Sami? Okay, he's quiet now. Yeah, I love you too. Okay, so we went for a house viewing and we decided to go ahead with the mansion. To be honest, location is great, size is good. I have some concerns because it's next to a highway because of air pollution. But yeah, if you're apartment hunting for like a cat-friendly space, your options are gone. It's the only option available for us, and out of desperation, we took it. But there's more positives than negatives, I think, okay? So I'm just gonna like kind of like list the fees. I'm intending for this segment to be more informative rather than entertaining, okay? And I'm gonna just go through it right now, okay? So, estate agent handling fee, 187,000 yen. October's rent, 93,225 yen. Now we're moving in the middle of the month, so it's not a full month's worth of rent. November rent, 170,000 Japanese yen. Shikikin, this means deposit, 170,000 yen. Leikin, 170,000 yen. Now this, think of Leikin as a mandatory tip. It translates in English to thank you money. It doesn't do anything for you. It's not returned to you when you move out. It doesn't unlock any kind of special on-site facilities or like facility support. It's a mandatory tip. In our case, because we're bringing in a pet, it's double. So it's 340,000 Japanese yen. Then we got the Genkan Kagi Kokan Dai, if I'm reading it correctly. This means the key and lock money. So when a tenant moves out of a mansion or, you know, a mansion, apartment, the cost of replacing the key and the lock is passed on to the next tenant, us, okay? So that's 42,900 yen. So the total for all of this is 1,03,125 Japanese yen, okay? Now, if I do a currency conversion to US dollars or Great British pounds, as of autumn 2025, it's roughly 4,000, 5,000, okay? So very high, like moving in costs. And this doesn't take into account like the fire insurance costs, the guarantor costs, which come later, or the cleaning costs, the pet special cleaning costs when we move out. So just know that when it comes to apartment hunting in Japan, okay, there's a lot of costs, ridiculous costs, to be honest. And this is why typically when people move, it's a long-term decision, okay? So we're definitely going to be here for like at least a couple of years in that case. And it is what it is. But I've realized that this is probably why cat cafes are so expensive. I mean, so popular in Japan. Because I think, you know, some of these costs, like they relating to the fact that we have a cat. If we didn't have a cat, we could find a place that's maybe cheaper, for example. If we didn't have a cat, we wouldn't have to pay twice the thank you money. If we didn't have a cat, we wouldn't have it stipulated in the contract that when we move out, we need to pay a special, you know, pet cleaning fee, okay? So I've realized that for most people, this is probably why they just settle for a cat cafe to get their cat fix rather than just owning a cat. Now, I've heard this sentiment from a few people that apparently in Japan, everyone just secretly keeps a pet. But then if we get caught with that, we in big trouble. I hear there's like really crazy fines if you like break contract terms and agreements. So with that, you know, we've paid for this, we're moving in a matter of days. All that's left for us is to just simply pack, you know, and move to our new apartment. Yes. Okay, today is moving day, and the biggest challenge will probably be getting him into a cage. Sami, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, Sami. Sami, it's okay. Sami, careful, Sami. It's okay.
It's okay, Sami. ごめんね。これストローラー乗せられますか？
Yeah, she was.
多分ライリはこれ今日使わなくても大丈夫です。これで。
Okay, the delivery people came, or the moving people came, they took all our stuff. They're now waiting for us at the new place. Moe and I are going to let them in and they're going to drop off all the stuff. Okay, time to unleash Sami. Sami? Oh, Sami, come in here. He might just run away straight away. Sami! Sami, it's okay. It's okay, Sami. You got a new place now. Oh. He very rarely ever meows, like properly meows like that. Only if it's food or he's distressed. That's a distressed meow. Sami, it's okay. Sami, it's okay.
Sami! We're here. There's nothing to afraid of, Sami.
Okay, it's been a couple of weeks since we moved in. I'm just going to do a quick little, you know, like mansion tour. We haven't unpacked everything, nor have we bought all the furniture we need, but I just want to kind of quickly get this video out. I'm going to start properly with Riley's room because this is the kind of the closest to completion and therefore the most presentable. It's a pretty small room. I'll talk about that in a moment, but I just give a little brief tour. We've got like her crib over here. We've got her plushes over here. I'm glad we finally have space for this big giant bear. We've got wardrobe over here. Got a nice little bookshelf that I put together this week for her. So lots of Pokemon books and other books. We just need to change the curtains, something that's more kind of like kid friendly, cute and colorful. These are kind of boring grandma curtains. But yeah, this is the room. It might look a little bit small, but this is pretty standard. The total mansion size is about like 85 square meters. And that's pretty typical for raising a family. In fact, the neighbors next to us and the neighbors directly above us, they are also families in the same sized apartments. Okay. Coming out of Riley's room, we've got the living room. Nothing really much to show here. It's a small TV. I'm just over here, I guess. But I don't place much focus on TV. What's important though is the cat tower over here. 154 centimeters, really nice and spacious for Sami boy. He loves this thing so much, I've been feeling lonely recently because he never climbs on my lap anymore and he never comes to bed at night. But I'm glad that he's happy. Love you, Sami. tower over here. I just wanted to take a moment to show this little bit. It's got a little play area for Riley. What's up, baby Riley? So you might be thinking, Luke, if you're so concerned about Riley hitting her head on the floor, why don't you get a carpet? Well, carpets, I don't know, they just don't seem easily available in Japan. But what is easily available are these very popular jigsaw mats that you could expand as needed. You could easily throw them away when you don't need them. You could easily replace individual segments, and they're cheap. So at the moment, for Riley's size, her movement needs, this is sufficient. Ain't that right, baby Riley? We've got the kitchen over here, okay? And it might seem small, but it's pretty big compared to our previous apartment. That's the benefits of living in a mansion, I guess. One thing that isn't here is an oven, and it seems like in Japan to have an oven is an incredibly like rich person thing, so we don't have it. That also, I think, explains why people here in Japan on Christmas opt to have KFC over turkey, because no one could make a turkey in their home. Google that if you don't believe me, but yeah, KFC on Christmas is a very big thing here in Japan. Okay, not much to show, but this is the parents' bedroom. It's literally just a mattress on the floor surrounded by boxes because we're still unpacking stuff. But just to give you an idea of like how big a parent's bedroom is in a typical mansion, this is it. Like I said, this place is 85 square meters. That's pretty standard. Okay, I'm not going to show the toilet, nothing special there, but I will show the kind of like shower room. Just because I think the cubicle is actually a little bit spacious, to be honest. Like you could actually put a seat down here if you want, like a plastic stool, which a lot of people do in Japan. Sit down, give yourself a seated kind of scrub and a rub, and then hose yourself down with the shower. So pretty nice and spacious. I actually like that. Okay, and this is the balcony. I'm not going to show the view because I'm worried about putting too much personal information out on the internet. But with that, that concludes my little kind of mini mansion tour. The video is mostly about my moving in experience and not the actual apartment itself, okay? But I felt like if I didn't show the end result, it would be a missed opportunity. When I started making the video, I wanted it to be kind of like super in-depth about the moving in procedure in Japan. But then I saw an opportunity to make it about my cat because he's the reason we're here. And with my previous cat, Luna, unfortunately, I didn't get to make a video about her properly until she passed away. And so I always kind of felt bad about that. So I felt like I want to make a kind of Sami focused video. And that's why I featured him so heavily in this little kind of video. But, you know, like, I'm not exaggerating when I said we had hundreds of opportunities when we went to the estate agent. And then the moment the estate agent like just turned on a filter for cat-friendly places or pet-friendly places, it dropped from several hundred to like just 3 options. And then of those 3 options, only 1 place allowed cats. So my conclusion, my takeaway here is that like if you own a cat and you may be looking for requirements similar to us, you know, like a kind of mansion in outer Tokyo, rent is, you know, like maybe, you know, between 150,000 to 200,000 per month. You're gonna have a tough time trying to find a good place. And so I feel kind of bad about, like, I feel, you know, unhappy about this apartment. It's not like I chose this apartment because I wanted this apartment. I chose this apartment because there was no other choices. So, like, a bit of me just feels kind of like bittersweet. Like, it's good we got out the previous like apartment and we moved into this nice mansion and it's suitably big for Riley. But there's a few small things. Like one, even 9 AM on a sunny day, it's dim inside and I have to turn on the lights. So it's like kind of permanently dark. Another one is like the contract terms. Like over half of my deposit is already tied to cleaning fees when I move out. Now, I know that's kind of standard in Japan, but there are places that don't do that. But because we didn't have any options, we couldn't find any places with better contract terms. But anyway, that's going to be the end of my video, and then I'm just going to focus on my autumn vlog video. But if there's one thing I learned, it's, you know, if you're a cat lover, I don't know, just good luck finding a place.